YouTube? What's going on? It is ya boy, Humorous February 14th. So, basically, I don't even understand what to make of this article. Um, as someone who does not respect the corporate press, the perceived legitimacy of the corporate press, the blatant lies that they like to tell. Um, if this is like some sort of case for, I don't even care, higher taxes or socialized health care or gun control, it's like, okay, well, we see what you want. This is a whole new level. So I don't really care about the New York Times at all. Um, the only time I've ever cared about what they've had to say, and I use care very loosely, is if, the New York Post or Fox News or, some of the bigger YouTubers talk about an article from the New York Times, in which I'll kind of take a look at and dissect. And I saw this article shared a lot. And I was like, but is this article really what it is? Is this just a insensitive title for a real life story or case that's going on? And then I read it. And then I was so stunned that the New York Times, this group of liars right here, would post something so, I don't know. Let's just talk about it. A taste for cannibalism. A spate of recent stomach-churning books, TV shows, and films suggest we've never looked so delicious to one another. Uh, I can assure you that no person's ever looked delicious to me. And so it goes on here. An image came to Chelsea G. Summers. A boyfriend accidentally, on purpose. Read that again. An image came to Chelsea G. Summers. A boyfriend accidentally, on purpose, hit by a car, some quick work with a corkscrew, and his liver served Tuscan style on toast. So basically, they're just talking about this woman's book. This right here is where this all takes a turn. Turns out, cannibalism has a time and a place. I've made a dedication that I don't want to share my face on YouTube simply for the fact of privacy reasons. But I don't think you could really see the disbelief in my face still reading that and then reading it out loud. Do you see what they're doing? The New York Times, in the span of 3 sentences, has already made a concrete point saying that cannibalism has a time and place. And a lot of religions deem this to be the worst crime a person could commit. along with murder. I I wish we could make this up. It's like every single time something like this happens, it's like how many quarters can we put in the Alex Jones was right jar before that fool could buy out the Federal Reserve? He's not a fool, but in the pages of some recent stomach-churning books and on television and film screens, Miss Summers and others suggest that the time is now. Are you serious? Now, I'm not actually one to give a shit about what the what Hollywood is pushing out. I'm not big into new TV shows or movies. Unpopular opinion, I still have not seen Top Gun Maverick. I heard it's fantastic. I just stopped caring. I don't want these people to have my money, especially nowadays, especially with all the propaganda they push. But I really can't believe that one, two, three, four, in the span of what seems to have be like 5 years. Well, and then plus this, that there are 6 pieces of media that talk about cannibalism. Its director has called the story extremely romantic. Okay. Call it extremely sick. Fascination with cannibalism, perhaps not surprisingly, can toe a fine line. Can toe a fine line? The TOW? Anyways, don't worry. I dropped out of college, so I'm just I don't have a piece of paper that confirms my indoctrination. When fact checkers came calling about the frenzied scenes in which the book's anti-heroine prepares her murdered, so I'm not going to read this book, but were you inspired or did you copy Silence of the Lambs and Hannibal? Because Hannibal Lecter, for a lot of people, is an anti hero. And here we have another main character, quote unquote, that's an anti hero cannibal. People in the comments tell me, is this just a carbon copy of those brilliant books by Thomas Harris, I believe? Publishers may have been too. Miss Summers. Okay, who cares? But let's talk about like the real crux of the issue. Why are you promoting this? Why this just with the third sentence? It turns out there's a time and place for cannibalism. Where? Where? The can't even gather my thoughts. These people are depraved. They're sick. How do you, as an honest editor, Alex, well, I know he's not the editor in chief, but or she, who cares? Turns out cannibalism has a time and a place. Okay. No. I mean, this kind of goes back to the point where you'll hear a lot of people say, if something was done to my son or my daughter, and I think you could fill in the blanks if you're a smart person. If some acts were done against them, I would more than likely unalive them. And it's so easy to say it when it doesn't happen to you. I think this is a different situation. If I was in the plane crash, I think when was that? 1972. The one that I think that was based off the movie Alive. If you know what I'm talking about, it's I believe they're a rugby team and their plane crashed. It's based on a true story, quote unquote. And in order to survive, I believe in the Himalayas, the people that died, they started to eat them because they had ran out of food. Do they really think that's what's going to happen to us? Like, we're all going to be on a rugby team, crash our plane into the Himalayas, and consume the people. Like, that's so nonsensical. So it makes you think, what are you alluding to? Are you alluding to the food shortages that the administration that you guys have propped up is going to indefinitely cause? I mean, oh, yeah, here we go. I'm glad they brought it up. Good thing I read this. This is not This not only adds a spine-tingling creepiness to the already dark story about the soccer team. This must be some BS about some Yellow Jackets. But also it separates it from the real-life tale, the Uruguayan rugby team trapped in the Andes Mountains in 1972, whose members, yeah, yep, see, this is the movie. Genius. I can't even wrap my head around this. I mean, I don't think any sane person reads or watches Hannibal or Silence of the Lambs and goes like, man, I really relate to that Hannibal Lecter fella. Nobody does, for a multitude of reasons. I mean, first of all, unless I'm on an island, I've never eaten a person, nor have I uh, fantasized about eating a person. I assume that a lot of you guys haven't either. Well, I hope so. If you have, just go ahead and leave me a dislike, click off the video, and never come to my channel again. And go seek help, please. Um, the thing about Hannibal, in my opinion, was that he was such a unrelatable character. He was so terrifying. Where the mystique of Hannibal was like, if you came across this guy in your everyday life, you might endure a hell that you never dreamed of. I mean, to come face to face with somebody who perpetually eats people, I mean, that's horrifying. I would hope to never meet a cannibal a day in my life, and I am gonna make an assumption for 99.9999% of you guys out there, and I think that was the mystique of Hannibal, because in a way, like, he wasn't even really a hero. I mean, even in Hannibal, he wasn't really a hero. He was a devilish, depraved human who just so happened to be on the run. And Clarice, saves his life from, God, I can't remember the villain's name. But if you saw the movie, you know who I'm talking about. The guy with the Hannibal screwed up. Um, Basically turned him into a monster. But this is not something to gloat about. It's like in a lot of ways kind of the situation with like the Punisher from Marvel Comics, if you know anything about him. The Punisher is cold. He is one of my favorite characters. But I think it's more so the allure of what the Punisher does, where we go, yes, please. This guy is laying waste to all of these evil people, but we would never do that. Um, but that wouldn't be something to gloat about. Like, I guess actually, I take that back. It's probably a bad example because I would be so happy to see somebody do that to like Epstein's Island, like go Punisher. I'd prop him up as a hero. So I guess it's a bad example, but I mean, God, this is disgusting. I just, in a way, it kind of makes me happy because if you're just a layman and you look at this and you're like, oh my God, here we go, another right wing Christian conservative, which really isn't even how I identify. Um, I'm more of an anarchist, and if you really want to put me into a political bubble, I'm a libertarian first. But you can't make this claim that just because I decide to, expose the New York Times for the depraved corporate press conglomerates that they are, you can't tell me this is some crazy right wing Christian QAnon conspiracy because here it is. Here's the article. Right here in your face. I did not make this up. Obviously, here's the address right here, newyorktimes.com. Here it is. I just don't even understand the end game. Like, okay, even let's just even look at this. Forget about the corporate press and everything. Let's think about this from the capitalistic perspective. Capitalism, if we're talking providing a product that people need and not this fascistic level of capitalism that we have in America that will tell you who you can hire, how you can hire, and why you can hire certain people, even though it's your company. You're the owner. What do you gain by this? I mean, not all press is good press. This is going to give you such negative press where I would not be surprised if they lost money after this because how do you defend something like this? If they want to take a stance on Donald Trump or Joe Biden, that's one thing. They are both polarizing individuals, and most people have a preference one way or the other. But you could see the market for the other side, right? If this was some pro-Trump piece, you could say, oh well, this will get the Trump supporters on our side. This will garner their money and garner their clicks to promote our articles. Whereas this is like a pro-Democrat, pro-establishment, pro-Biden, pro-cathedral, which is true. This is really what the New York Times is. When they propagate that, you can see, well, okay, I could see who this appeals to. Who does this appeal to? Is Anthony Hopkins really Hannibal Lecter? I doubt it. He seems like a pretty cool guy. I'm pretty sure he's not really eating people, and I'm pretty sure he really didn't eat people on Hannibal either. It's just, what the hell is going on, man? This is just unbelievable. Like I said, I just don't. I guess what I don't understand from the corporate press is, what is the best case scenario putting this article out? Because let's just even say people take this article and they're like, yeah, you guys are right. We should be eating more people. What? You're just cultivating a group of cannibals and murderers. That, and getting a lot of people sick. So, I mean, is this some crazy, like, 5D chess to, I guess what you would consider depopulate the population for climate change? I can't really see that, but hey, I feel like Alex Jones probably said that they would promote cannibalism at some point or another. At this rate, that guy is just like Steph Curry from deep. He's just shooting. That boy is lights out, man. I just, like I said, man, I don't understand. I don't understand this from even understanding, which is a good thing. I'm glad I don't understand this, because if I did, I'd be a part of the problem. Um, I just, I can't fathom it. I don't understand what the corporate press gains from putting something out like this, where you're clearly promoting an absolutely insane ideology. You know, like, we're talking about the consumption of other humans. This is insane. This is insanity. I'm kind of glad in a way that something like this comes out, because then I could just, share it to the blue pilled folk that are like, oh, you're so crazy that these people would, promote something as open as, they would promote something openly like cannibalism. And it's like, here you go. Here's all the evidence you need. Um, yeah. Uh, that's my thoughts on this cannibal article. It's insane. Um, but anyways, I don't want to tell you guys what to do. You can go ahead and like this video, share this video to whoever doesn't believe this. Um, subscribe to my channel. I want to try to start uploading probably once daily, depending on how ridiculous the news cycle is, because I do still work a regular 9 to 5. Um, but I want to bring out the a very moderate, somewhat moderate, anarchist slash libertarian perspective on what's going on in the world, and basically expose the corporate press as we can. Maybe find a niche, figure out what we want to do, and just build an empire off that. So with that, I hope you guys have a great night or a great morning whenever you decide to watch this, and peace.